Celine Dion is keeping people up at night in New Zealand. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. By listening here, you can improve your vocabulary, practice your listening, even learn something about the world. This is lesson number 627, and so JR, our producer, has uploaded the full lesson content to plainenglish.com/627. Thank you, JR, for that. Now, coming up today, I'll explain why certain New Zealanders are losing sleep over Celine Dion. But to understand the story, you need to know two words: megaphone and loudspeaker. A megaphone, you know what this is. This is something you hold in your hand and you talk into it, and it makes your voice louder. If you were leading a parade or something, you would have a megaphone. The sound isn't great, but it makes your voice louder. The other word I'm going to use is loudspeaker. And for that, I mean the kind of speaker that might be in a stadium or a public place, often used for emergency messages, like a public address system. Not something you would listen to for a long time, but something that would tell you there's a fire and you should evacuate the building. So I'm going to use those words today. Watch out for them. And if you want to see a picture of a loudspeaker, just find this lesson online at plainenglish.com/627. In the second half of the lesson, we'll talk about the English expression rig together, and we have a song of the week. Now, before we get started, I wanted to remind you we are running a Black Friday special this year. So if you are listening here in late 2023, this is your chance. Now, the special has not been released yet as of today, Thursday, but check back in your podcast feed tomorrow or anytime during the weekend, Black Friday. That's November 24th to 27th, 2023. If you want to upgrade your English with us, you are going to want to grab this special. So check out your podcast feed or plainenglish.com during Black Friday weekend, starting tomorrow, Friday. Here we go. The Canadian singer Celine Dion is known as the Queen of Power Ballads. You probably know her from My Heart Will Go On, the theme song of Titanic. Or maybe you recognize her other hits, It's All Coming Back to Me from 1996, or The Power of Love from 1993. Wow, that's 30 years old. If you live in New Zealand, however, especially if you live in the town of Porirua, then you definitely recognize these songs. That's because they play at loud volumes all over town, all during the day and night. Let me explain. There is a thing called a siren club. The short explanation is that this is a competition to see who can play music the loudest on homegrown speaker systems. And in Porirua, Celine Dion songs are the most popular to play during siren battles. Here's the longer explanation. Pasifika in New Zealand refers to people of indigenous Pacific Island origin. So their ancestors lived in the small islands of the Pacific. Samoa, Tonga, and Fiji are examples. And a subculture of Pasifika people in New Zealand organizes siren clubs. And the point of a siren club is to play music out loud outside. But they don't play music on a traditional stereo system with traditional speakers. That would be unoriginal. Instead, they take megaphones and loudspeakers, the kind of speakers you would use when addressing a large crowd or making an emergency announcement. They rig together lots of these megaphones and attach them to cars and bicycles. Remember, these speakers are not designed to play music. They don't really have bass. The speakers are designed to amplify a person's voice, to tell people to evacuate a building, or to help guide a crowd. They're not designed to sound good with music. But the siren clubs rig them together to play music. And because they don't have any real capacity to reproduce bass or lower notes, they play music that primarily has higher notes. And that is why Celine Dion is playing at high volumes in New Zealand. Her songs are perfect for the siren clubs. They're very clear, heavy on vocals, and they don't have much bass. So the siren clubs get together, and they have, just wait until you hear this, siren battles. And this is when they get together to see how loudly they can play music on their homemade siren systems on their bikes and cars. So in Porirua, you have groups of people all competing to see how loudly they can play Celine Dion songs outside. And to make matters worse, Porirua is in a valley, so the sound echoes around town and carries up to the residential areas in the nearby hills. Now this, it won't surprise you, is not popular with everyone in Porirua. As one resident says, he doesn't have anything against Celine Dion. He just wants to enjoy her songs on his own speakers at the volume he decides. He doesn't want to hear her music being blasted at high volume all around town, especially late at night. The siren battles used to be held at an industrial park at night, but they used to end around 10 p.m. But now, the siren clubs are playing songs later and later at night and in more residential areas. They cruise through town playing Celine Dion songs from their cars or bicycles. Residents are demanding the local government do something about it. They say seniors and children can't sleep at night. Some people are considering moving away. The mayor doesn't know what to do. At the moment, the mayor said in one interview, there's no answer on how we'll fix it. Siren clubs say that this is part of their culture. The leader of one club, called the Noisy Boys, said they do this to stay out of trouble. Another said that they love music and dancing, and doing this is better than night clubbing or drinking in a bar. Could you imagine? Everywhere you go, you hear Celine Dion. Like everywhere in your town. At any moment, you might hear a Celine Dion song. And as you can imagine, they don't play the whole song from start to finish. They either mix it with other sounds or just play clips or something. Would you move if this were going on? Would you move to a different city, buy earplugs, or just develop a new appreciation for Celine Dion? I don't know what I would do, but moving would be on the table. JR always picks a good song for us to listen to on Thursdays, and today is no exception. Today's song of the week is Into the Mystic by the Irish singer Van Morrison. Van Morrison is one of my favorite artists, and this song is one of his more famous ones. It's very mellow, a bluesy song. It's an early one from the album called Moondance from 1970. This is a really, really good one. Into the Mystic by Van Morrison is the song of the week. Thank you, JR. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the expression rig together. This is a very informal phrase, and it means to put something together, to set something up quickly, and probably not very elegantly. When you rig something together, you don't do it the right way or the most effective way. You don't follow an instruction manual, but you put something together or you make it work even though it might not be perfect. Now, most of us, when we buy computers, we either go to a store or go to a website, we place an order, and we take a computer home or one arrives in a box. But not everyone does it that way. Some enthusiasts like to buy the individual parts. Some people have computer parts laying around their house, and they can rig together their own computer. If you rig together a computer, you grab a spare part from here, you pick up a part from there, maybe you improvise a little bit, and the final product will work. But it won't be a nice looking, compact, clean, not like you had just bought it from the store. If you rig together a computer, it might not be pretty. It might not come with a warranty. It doesn't come with a warranty, but it works. You make a computer using what you have or what you can get access to. You rig it together. It's common to use rig together when you make something new out of things you have available even if those things weren't specifically made for your purpose. So let's say you have an old bicycle and you want an electric bike. You can rig together a battery, a small motor, a speed sensor, and some cables. So maybe you had the battery and some cables from something else. You had a motor from something different, and you bought a speed sensor. And let's say you're good with this sort of thing, and after a few days in your garage, you emerge with an electric bike. What happened? You rigged together an electric bike out of stuff that you had available or that you could easily get your hands on. Now, maybe none of those things were designed to power a bike, but you made it work. It's not going to be the prettiest bike on the road, but it works. You rigged it together. So that's how we used it today with the siren clubs in New Zealand. These guys rig together loudspeakers and megaphones to play music. A megaphone is not designed to play music. A loudspeaker, this is something that announces a fire or something, like a public address system. These are low-tech things designed to project a person's voice. They're not meant to play music. They're not meant to sound good. But the siren clubs rig together systems that play music on a collection of megaphones and loudspeakers. This is not my idea of fun, but it takes all kinds. They modify these systems. They put them together so that multiple speakers or megaphones are playing the same thing. That's not what they're designed for. They're not designed to work together, but the siren clubs find a way, and then they find a way to connect them to a music source. I'm sorry, I don't know the details, but they do it. They rig it together. They must modify the speakers, wire them together somehow. Maybe there's work in a workshop here, soldering, I don't know. But I know that they rig it together because they're making these speakers work in a way that they were not exactly designed to work. MacGyver is an old TV show. MacGyver is a handyman. He's good with stuff, and he could always find a way to use the things he had available to accomplish his goal. He carried a Swiss Army knife, a watch, duct tape, and a toolbox. And he was always scanning the environment, scanning around him to see what he could use to solve a problem. One time, he rigged together a lie detector test from a blood pressure pump and an alarm clock. He used a few things he had available to make something totally new. They didn't make the alarm clock to be used in a lie detector test. They didn't make the blood pressure pump to be used in a lie detector test. But MacGyver rigged together a lie detector test out of those two common things. And that is all for today's Plain English. If you are in the US, and I know a lot of you are, including JR, then happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you enjoy a day off, a good meal with new friends. Thanks for joining us for lesson 627. We'll be back on Monday with a new topic. Now remember, we are one day away from Black Friday. That is going to be November 24th through November 27th, 2023. And we have a fantastic offer for you. I can't say what it is just yet, but it will be announced on the website and right here in your podcast feed on Friday, November 24th. So check back here, or better yet, just set a reminder to go to plainenglish.com. Our Black Friday special is good only from November 24th through November 27th. So make sure to check out plainenglish.com during the weekend to grab that special. You won't want to miss it.